Hi everyone, this is Krista and welcome to the Feminine TakeOff. So today the topic of our video is actually a really fun one because I have to constantly work at this, and that topic is how to have good feminine friendships. So let's get started, shall we, ladies? Forgive me, I know it seems like I am like constantly in a new hotel room. It's just I travel for work and I don't know, for someone who's abstinent, I sleep in different beds often. But anyway, it's just a joke, you know. I'm sleeping in a different bed by myself. But anyway, so I'm actually thinking about starting a little mini series that I will be calling like feminine skills, because as I was doing research about this, I looked up feminine skills and really all I saw was cooking, cleaning, knitting and things like that. I mean, I did see horseback riding, and I don't know, those of you who know me personally, I used to take equestrian lessons. I used to also take fencing lessons en garde. But when I look at feminine skills, I see things that are great, but I want to also just go a little bit deeper, because there are women who do many things in this life. When you step outside, for example, you see a woman who's a friend, you see a woman who is an engineer, you see a woman who's a janitor, you know, you see a woman who is doing something that is maybe that society doesn't deem feminine, but somehow she still achieves it and still does it, right? So then I got the idea of just getting like a little series thing that I will be calling feminine skills. So I think my first one was like, what was my first feminine skill? How to speak calmly and softly, yet in a concise manner, something like that. It's one of my previous videos, right? And when we think of community, a lot of research, I'm not going to quote any direct source, but sources say, so I heard, that a lot of women live longer than men, especially when they are divorced, right? So then it makes me think, why is that? And a big reason that people say is that it's because women cultivate and build communities. They have stronger relationships, right? So then I thought, wow, why don't I make a video on how to build a friendship or a community? Especially that, according to research and science, women are very good at building that. And also, as I was thinking about this idea, oftentimes I will meet women who would say, oh, I don't really have a lot of women friends, women have drama and so on and forth. And honestly, may I share a little secret with you all? Every time a woman tells me that, that is one of the biggest red flag a woman can tell me. The moment a woman opens her mouth and tells me, I don't like to hang out with a lot of girls or women because women have drama, that means, are you a woman? Are you drama? So, and what makes you so special if you are not dramatic and you claim you are a woman, right? Or you claim you are feminine. So I won't go too deep into that, but I just want to make a video about how to cultivate deep, meaningful friendships and build a community the feminine way, that is drama free, that is supportive, and that really is healing and soothing for you. Your friends don't have to be exactly like you, okay? I hope my friends are not exactly like me, because I could get a little bit bored, or I don't know, I would like a diverse friends, and exactly that's what a community is, right? If you have a community of different people and you have different skills, you have a stronger community than if you have a community of people who have the same exact skills but you're lacking in other way. That means whatever one person is lacking in, the entire community is lacking in it too, because you're all are equivalent, okay? Before I get even deeper deeper into that, I just wrote something that I wanted to read for us here. And what I wrote is, your friends don't have to be exactly like you, but they must be able to symbiotically fit into your life. So I'll be speaking about a few points that may be able to help you in building a new community, sisterhood, or friendship. So let's get started, ladies, shall we? Okay, so let's get started with point number one. Point number one is be kind, okay? If for whatever reason you are interacting with someone, or friends, or just anyone, even a stranger that you don't know, and the first things that come into your mind is how to fix them or something negative that you've noticed on them, you are not ready to build healthy friendships or a community. I know that sounds really, it can sound mean or not nice, but I really mean that, okay? If you, for whatever reason, every time you meet someone, let's say someone walks past you, a woman or someone you meet, and then you're like, oh, her hair is frizzy, oh, why does she walk like that? If you are constantly thinking negatively about people, especially people you don't know that well, you need to ask yourself, why am I insecure? What am I feeling insecure about that makes me want to bring other people down to my level in order for me to truly be comfortable? Okay, it's a harsh question, but again, here with the Feminine Takeoff, we ask ourselves hard questions. Why? So that we can grow, so that we can better ourselves. There's no shame in doing something the wrong way, realizing you're doing it the wrong way, and then deciding that, you know what, I don't want to do this wrong way anymore. Let me do it in a better way. Okay, so again, if you are constantly thinking negatively about people, you meet someone and the first few things you can think of is something that they are lacking or missing, you really need to ask yourself, what am I truly insecure about? What about me is pinning myself against other people? There's no right or wrong answer, but you really need to heal from that so that you don't feel the need to bring other people down to your level. Okay, so again, point number one is be kind. Okay, you want to build a kind, gentle, soothing, healing sisterhood, friendship, or community. You have to be able to embody that. Okay, if you're a mean girl, you can't be a mean girl and say, I want my friends to be nice, because you're gonna be mean to them. They're gonna kick you away. Okay, or vice versa. You can't be a nice girl and be around mean girls. They're gonna ship at your confidence and nitpick at you to the point where you're either gonna become mean like them, insecure like them, or worse. Okay, so again, point number one is be kind. If you don't know a nice thing to say, sometimes just observe. Whatever you think the first time about someone could be wrong. Of course, first impressions are lasting and so on and forth, but sometimes be kind and just see to understand, listen to understand instead of listening to judge, unless it is your life depends on it. Okay, if you're looking at someone or you're supposed to do business with someone or invite someone into your home and you're feeling wary about who they are or who they seem to be, then you can maybe not invite them into your home and so on and forth. But otherwise, just be kind. Okay, approach people with kindness. You can still have your boundaries and be kind. All right, so let's move on to point number two, shall we? Point number two that I wrote here in order to build a great sisterhood, community, or friendship is you cannot be afraid to grow. Okay, again, this might also be one of those lessons that if you're not ready to hear it, it's not gonna sound very good to you. So in order for you to grow and truly have authentic friends, sisterhood, and a community, you have to be a little comfortable with the discomfort of not being the top of your friends. Okay, now they always, that quote, that saying that says, if you are the smartest person in the room, you are not in a good room or you are in trouble. Well, just to say, I notice a lot of times I'll meet amazing people, and this happened to me especially when I was in my earlier 20s or even late teens, even in my mid to late 20s, I'm in my late 20s now, really late 20s now. So even at the age I am now, I'm noticing sometimes women who are significantly older than me want to be my friend because they think that they can teach me something, or they think that I can comfort them in their mediocrity. Okay, it's not until they start talking to me and they're like, oh shoot, I can't just put myself, I can't pretend I'm an ego and because she's younger than me. I know a lot of people who are older. I've been around a lot of older people. My siblings were teenagers when I was born, a lot of them at least. My parents are older parents than most people, and yeah, so I've always been around older people, so a lot of times I see things a little bit further ahead than most people my age even might, especially when I was in my earlier 20s. Okay, so that's not the point. The point is, if you are older than your friends, and especially if your friends are in their early 20s or younger women, and they look up to you, you have a car, a cute little car or a cute little condo, so your friends are like, oh my god, you have this, you have that. Maybe your friends still live at their parents' house, so in your head you think you have it all, you think you have it together, because your friends are not in the level of independence, in a level of achievement that you do. You will never grow because you are being complimented and praised by people who don't really understand that someone your age should have accomplished more. Okay, but if your friends are on a similar level, let's even say they're younger than you, but they have accomplished more, then you are able to say, wow, my friend is this young and she's accomplishing this. And for example, if a friend of yours call and say, hey, I just purchased my 3rd house abroad and I'm opening my new business here, you're gonna say, oh my god, wow, that's amazing, I'm so proud of you. How can I also, then you start to get ideas of, oh my god, that's so inspiring, how can I also grow? Okay, if you're crying about the same guy you've been crying about, I've been guilty of this, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna put myself out there. For example, let's say that I am sitting there crying and moping about a guy that I've been crying and moping about for a few years now, and my friends just call me and say, hey Krista, I just bought a 3rd house, I just built a 2nd business, I just accomplished this and that. I'm gonna say, wow. While I'm sitting here feeling sorry for myself, moping around, people are actually growing and stepping ahead in life. Let me take the footsteps of enhancement as the flock around me are. You know how they say birds in a feather flock? Well, if the birds around you are eagles and soaring and achieving great things, and you are sitting there crying, some part of you, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but once you get past that insecurity, you can say, wow, thank you friends for inspiring me. Okay, again, your friends have to be able to inspire you. If you are the one that your friends are constantly looking up to, then you really have to look a little bit deeper into that. And unless you are like, even an astronaut might have a friend who is like, I don't know, the richest woman on earth, or there's always something that you can learn from another woman. Okay, no matter how great you are, no matter how powerful you are. All I'm saying with this topic is you need to be able to learn and grow from your friends and be inspired by your friends. You cannot have friends who only look up to you. Okay, you will not grow in any way, because nothing is really challenging you. All right, so now let's move on to point number 3, ladies, shall we? And point number 3 is, you cannot need your friends, and your friends cannot constantly need you. Okay, it's one thing for a friend to support you, especially if you're in need, which you usually aren't. If you're constantly having to call your friend, ask them for a favor, or they're constantly having to call you and ask you for a favor, you need to seriously reconsider that friendship. And this even goes further in workplaces. Okay, I would hate to say this, but I truly don't think that coworkers make good friends. I had to learn this the really hard way. Why? Because I think anytime your livelihood is affected by someone, it's more difficult to truly be yourself, because you always have to be a little bit strategic, whether you like it or not, right? Whereas let's even say that friend is being rude to you, you now have to be strategic, even if you want to cut them off, because you are in a professional symbiotic relationship. So the best way that I maneuver through this is, anytime I have friends, I'm friends with a coworker or someone I work with, I always ask myself when I'm interacting with them, is this interaction a chess move? Is this a strategic move, or is this coming from a friend? Am I acting as a friend, or am I acting like a chess player? Okay, you need to be able to ask yourselves this. But every time I notice that you are friends with or have friendships or sisterhood with someone you need, it will never be genuine, because there will always be the parasite feeling or the moocher, the person who's just feeding off of you, and vice versa. Okay, so again, your friends have to be independently who they are. You have to also be independently who you are, and together you can grow and blossom into a great friendship, a great sisterhood, and so on and forth. But your friends cannot constantly need you. Okay, if you have hierarchy, financial hierarchy, or anything above your friends, and they need you to survive, they need you to feed themselves, or you need them to feed yourself, and so on and forth, it becomes again a chess game, a strategy game, and really it's difficult to have a true friendship within that. All right, ladies, so now let's move on to point number 4. So point number 4 has 2 parts to it. Okay, the first part is learn to assess your friendships, just as we assess romantic relationships. Okay, so if you're dating someone, after a few months, after a year, or so on and forth, you ask yourself, are they my partner? Are they gonna propose, or whatever the case is? Are we getting married? Are there milestones that you are achieving in that relationship, right? So friendships should also be seen in that way as well. Okay, have you known this person for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and yet you've never been able to do or celebrate anything with them? You've never been able to go on a trip with them. You've never been able to, I don't know, go to like a wedding with them, or to a family gathering with them, or something like that. That means that they might not be as invested as you are in that friendship. For example, if you are dating a man, and then the first few things that you ask is, have you met his friends? Have you met his family? And so on and forth, right? Well, if you are becoming a friends with a woman, and a year later all you both do is maybe you go and you have drinks somewhere, you go to a restaurant or something, and you sit on the phone and talk all day, or gossip or something, then really that friendship it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, or anywhere far, or anywhere good, right? And so you want to be careful whether you want to be someone's emotionally support pet or their friend, because there is a difference. When you think of a relationship, if a man is dating you but they are not bringing you around their family and friends, you might think, well, what's wrong? Are you ashamed of being around me, and so on and forth? So if you're friends with someone and you are not hanging out, celebrating birthdays, and so on and forth together, well, what is it about you or them that's making you not evolve in public? And if the only thing you also do is just talk on the phone and gossip, or beware of this, ladies. I didn't realize this because I've been independent from a really young age, but I used to go, and I still do, I would rather go out alone. I would rather book a fine dining. I'm actually traveling for work, but I'm thinking if I should go to Nobu tonight, but I have to make this video and do some work, but maybe I'll go tomorrow, and so on and forth. But anyway, some people are not used to being alone. Okay, and I didn't realize this, but some people They're not used to going to a restaurant they like alone, going to a show alone. They need an emotional support person, or even pet in the form of a human. Okay, so you might meet this person and think, oh my god, they want to hang out with me, go out with me, drink with me, but after doing only that, there's really nothing of substance in the relationship. If you find yourself in a situation like that, you might just want to start questioning and wondering, are you just their emotional support friend or pet, where they only call you up when they need to be seen with you, or need to be in public, or just need companionship, okay? Or they need to vent about something or gossip about something. That's something that you need to also be mindful of. And always remember to ask yourself, feminine ladies, are you an emotional support pet, or are you a friend? There is a difference, okay? And those type of friendships are actually really, really hard to distinguish, because you think, oh, they call me, oh, they, we go out one-on-one and hang out. But if they're, going on birthday trips, oh my god, this is awful. And maybe they're gonna watch this video because my channel is growing, so I hope that they don't think this is about them, but it is. So whatever, I'll just give this an example. I'll try to be as vague as possible. But I have known people who, they are ride or die, when people say ride or die, but they are just so supportive of their friends, and their friend was getting married and that friend did not invite them to their wedding. Same thing, some people will go out to trips across the world, across the country with their true childhood friends, but they never ask you to tag along to the girls' trip. But every night they call you and say, oh my god, there's this new gossip happening. You need to be able to assess yourself and the friendship and say, why is this person only seeking to be around me at this time? What is it about me that... And it's not really about you, so I don't want you to question yourself and think, oh my god, there's something wrong with me. But just also remember not to be used for your presence and your energy. I always say, it's not only men who want the best out of you. Sometimes it is women, it is the world who want the best out of you, but people cannot choose and pick which versions of you that they get, or which part of you that they get. If they want to be your friend, be your friend. If they're not, that's okay also, okay? But this is also not to be confused with, there are different friends for different settings. I used to fully believe in this, but as I'm getting older, I like friends that are a little bit well-rounded in different aspects, okay? Now, I'm not saying I have some friends who are just bougie to the core, okay? And I also have some friends who are like, they are more likely to call me and say, hey, I'm doing this outreach program in this country and I really want you to assist me with this, because I also like volunteering and so on and forth. But now those type of friends might not call me and say, hey, I want to go on a Neiman Marcus trip and let's go shopping, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. So that's where you categorize your friends, right? But a lot of my friends now are kind of equalized in that way, where we can go and volunteer at a shelter, do our philanthropist work, our humanitarian work, and we can also go to Neiman Marcus afterwards. And then we can go to, fine dining and have fun afterwards, okay? For me, it's just important for me to, my experiences are eclectic, but I also have friends that are equally as eclectic and equally as diverse. If anything, I feel like I might be the one that they're like, Krista might not want to walk around Central Park after we had a nice dinner, you won't catch me walking, okay? I don't walk and I don't run. I can do anything else with you but that. But again, just be mindful of that, ladies. Forgive me, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked here. But anyway, which point did I leave off? Let me double check. Okay, so that was point number 4. Now let's move on to point number 5, okay? So point number 5 that I wrote here is anyone who makes you say, ouch. Oh my God, this has to be it for me, okay? This is so important. Anyone who makes you say, ouch, more than 3 times in a set period of time, whether it's 6 months, a year, whatever your threshold is. any friend who makes you say, oh my God, ouch, that kind of hurt, you really need to be mindful around letting them in closer and further in your life. The reason why I'm saying is that people, as I'm growing older and doing my inner work, my friends are also either doing their inner work or even have started their inner work long before I've started mine, okay? So if I'm speaking to someone and then they say something mean to me, okay, maybe they didn't mean it. I wasn't born in the US. A lot of my friends are from different parts of the world. A lot of my friends can also be American. So what's rude to, like, you know, culturally to me might be a little bit different to what's rude culturally to them, right? But if my friends, I'll give you a great example. Oh my God. So one time I was out, I think, I won't tell you the setting of this because it's gonna give away who this person is, just in case they're watching my video. But I was out and there happened to be a group of girls. Let's just say we're at dinner, hypothetically, right? So we're at dinner, but I go to the ladies' room and this friend tags along with me. When we're coming back from the ladies' room, we run into a group of girls that we don't know. And so the group of girls, they see me and they're like, oh! And again, we were also in an area where it's not very common to see girls who look like me, whether culturally or so on and forth. So anyway, we step out and the group of girls who we don't know, they look at me and they're like, I love your dress, I love your skirt, I love your shoes and the bag. They're like, you know, and your hair, because, you know, and I think that day, I don't know if it was raining, but somehow my hair was poofier than I usually like it. But anyway, it was big. I had, you know, the hair looked bigger. And a lot of time people like me with big hair. I don't like it, but I do know that when I have like a big, like my hair has more volume, people like that about me. So anyway, the group of girls are like complimenting me, like, oh my God, I like your outfit, da 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 da. And my friend looks over and say out loud, oh, those shoes, they're designer, but she wears them all the time. And I thought, that's so weird. Why would my friend say that to a group of strangers? That's such an odd thing. And then, oh my God, if I go deeper, if this person happened to watch my channel, they're really gonna know it's them, but I don't care. So anyway, and so the group of girls we start talking in something, and we somehow started talking about education and so on and forth. And my friend again was like, oh, you went to community college. And just trying to show off that, you know, they went to a state university and I went to a community college, okay? And then I thought, oh my God, my friends cannot be either, I don't even know if it's jealousy or whatever it is. My friends cannot make me say ouch, because what happens when I'm going through real life things and you are feeling this feeling, whatever it is, whether it is jealousy, comparison, maybe you're not getting enough attention, how are you going to act towards me when I'm truly down? Then there I'm like on a high. People are complimenting me, people are falling over me, or so on and forth. But what's gonna happen when I genuinely will need your friendship? Are you going to kick me while I'm down? Ever since that day, so again, you don't want to be around people who make you say ouch more than 3 times in a set, you know, season or so on and forth. Because if they are intentionally trying to be rude or put you down, again, they either might be jealous of you, or if they're not jealous of you, something about you is making them feel inferior. So again, they need to bring you back down below at the level where they see themselves. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with their perception of themselves. And you really have to be mindful of that, feminine ladies. I'll even give you another example at this point. This is so important because I talk, you know, when I can't remember, I think I was like 22. I was in my early 20s, and I remember I had this group of friends who were just like so mean. And I remember I lived in a luxury building, and someone came to visit me, and security has to like check their ID just to process them in the building, just for the resident safety. And I remember they were like, your building is not nice enough. Why aren't they checking my ID? This is not luxury. And I remember being young and thinking, oh my God, is this really not luxury? But then I think about it, that's what doormen do. Okay, you can't walk into a luxury building. I know that now because I'm older. I'm even learning even more about luxury. But at the time I was like, oh my God, is my building that awful? And the person who was telling me that had 4 roommates living in a house. If your friends hurt you or embarrass you, especially in a group setting, you do not need to have that person in your community, in your friendship, in your heart, and around your spirit. It's not good for you, ladies, especially for a feminine woman. As I say in my previous video, especially one of my earlier videos, femininity should not constantly defend herself. Anytime you find yourself defending yourself or having to defend yourself as a feminine woman, you are now stepping into the masculine role in order to protect yourself. And you do not need that. You don't need to be doing that, especially around people you call friend. I'd rather not have a community, not have a friendship, if that's what I have to do. I could just be by myself and read my books, make my YouTube videos. Even heck, people on YouTube are nicer than some of these so-called friends nowadays. People on YouTube, yeah, people can say mean things with words. Luckily, the channel I have is a self-improvement channel. We're all really kind over here, but no, I can't imagine if strangers are not disrespectful, hurtful to me. My friends definitely cannot. I will cut you off faster than I can say cut off. Okay, and ladies, you need to learn how to do that as well. Your friends should not hurt your heart or your spirit. It is not good for you. I will never forget, one day I went out with a mutual friend. So I went out with a woman who was my friend, and she also brought her friend. So she brings her friend, and again, I like to be positive, okay? So when I meet someone, especially if this person, you bring them around me, and I want them to feel happy, like, oh my God, I'm meeting a new person. So anyway, the friend that I was being introduced to, I said, oh my God, nice to meet you. Such and such told me so many amazing things about you, how amazing you do your work, your philanthropy, and just who you are as a person. I heard you're great childhood friends, okay? And she's like gloating, excited, and happy. And as the conversation progressed, I was talking to my friend, and I was also like, oh my God, did you know my friend also, I can't remember what I complimented her on, but I was just like, this friend is also great at doing this. This new woman who I don't know was like, I also do that, but not in a way of inclusivity, more in a way where like, I do this and I do this better. And so just watching them, anytime someone will come and compliment, our mutual friend, my friend, her friend too, our mutual friend, she just would be so unhappy and bothered and ruffled by it. And again, your friends cannot be uncomfortable when someone is treating you kindly, or even go as far as trying to lower your self-esteem around other people. That's crazy to me. Anyway, number 5 was a little bit long of a topic, but just to reiterate everything, be really careful and wary around people who make you say ouch more than 3 times, or just say ouch, period. Anytime someone makes you say ouch, analyze them, put that in your pocket, or put that in a cabinet in your mind, okay? If you find yourself constantly analyzing, that's not feminine. Do yourself a favor and do what you have to do, ladies. We've talked about this part enough. So now let's move on to point number 6. Point number 6 might actually be one of my favorite points, and that is use discernment, okay? If you met someone and you met them while you were both complaining about how awful your ex is, chances are that's most likely what you're going to be bonding about, or what you're going to be trauma bonding about, negativity, right? Whereas if you met someone in a positive way, then the relationship will continue to progress in a positive way. So when you've bonded over something positive, let's say for example, you met someone and you were bonding about feeling more gratitude, or how you would try to attain or achieve that feeling of gratitude, the more you talk to them, the more you're probably gonna capitalize on that, okay? How you meet someone is how you grow with someone most of the time. All right, so again, or don't be afraid if you met someone while they're clubbing, partying, don't be surprised if they only want to invite you to club and party, because that's what they know you as. You're the clubbing and partying friend. So it would be a little weird if you're like, you know what, no, I want to start going to church now. They're gonna be like, well, that's not really how I know you, okay? It's not really their fault either. So again, use discernment as you're cultivating your friendships, okay? Just use discernment overall. Where you meet people is where you'll stay with people, or where you'll grow with people. Just be mindful of that. And last point, oh my God, I hope you guys are still with me. I talk a little bit, but I'm so happy. Oh my God, you guys have also been so kind to me. Thank you for supporting me. The channel is growing slowly but surely. I'm really excited. We are like growing now at a faster rate of like almost between 70 to 100 followers a month, which again, might not sound like it's a lot, but as we are growing, building this community has been a really intentional thing for me, and I'm really happy that the women who are choosing to be a part of Feminine TakeOff, we are growing together, and we're growing in kindness. Thank you all so much for being here. Mwah. Anyway, point number 7, my final point. Point number 7 is give people space. Okay, I specifically wrote it here. Forgive me, I'm gonna have to read it because it's so important to me. I don't want to butcher it. So what I wrote here is give people space to miss you, give people space to respect you, give people space to ponder on their interaction with you, especially if they've done something wrong. Just give people space to use their mind and process things. And as you give people space, you will also learn what is important to you in that relationship, or in that friendship, or in that community. So you can realize what type of person you have been, and what type of person they have been to you in that friendship or relationship. So give people space. Give people space to miss you, and so on and forth. Sometimes you don't always have to say, oh my God, this happened, you hurt my feelings, let's talk about this. Sometimes you could also just be feeling a feeling of unprocessed emotion. But when you give someone space, you will also learn what to do and what not to do. Okay, ladies? Anyway, thank you so much for watching me here with the Feminine TakeOff. Here we take off to better ourselves. I hope you've been enjoying watching my videos. Please comment below and on what are the key important things that you seek in a friendship, or building a community or sisterhood. I would love to hear it. Here with the Feminine TakeOff, we're always constantly growing. This is a community, so your ideas, your thoughts, and how you're growing and evolving also matter, and I love hearing you share them with me. Anyway, until the next video, thank you so much for watching. Mwah.